You know, we spend so much time, and let's be honest, a lot of money, on our skincare. We're always on the hunt for the perfect active ingredients, the most amazing textures, the best scents. But what if I told you that one of the most important ingredients in that expensive bottle is one you've probably never, ever noticed? It's this hidden workhorse, solving problems you didn't even realize your products had in the first place.
I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever bought a pricey vitamin C serum only for it to turn that gross brown color and become totally useless after just a few weeks? Or have you ever wondered how a really high-end fragrance can smell just as amazing at the end of the day as it did when you first put it on? Yeah, that's not just a coincidence or a happy accident. It's actually the result of some seriously clever chemistry going on behind the scenes.
You see, creating that perfect cream or serum, well, it's basically a constant battle against nature. Cosmetic formulators face all these invisible challenges just to make sure the product you buy is effective, stable, and, actually pleasant to use from the very first drop to the last.
And we're talking about some of the biggest headaches in the entire cosmetic industry. You've got these amazing, powerful ingredients like antioxidants that are just incredibly fragile. They break down the second they see light or get exposed to air. Then you have some of the most effective compounds like the stuff in self-tanners that just come with really unpleasant chemical smells. Fragrances, well, they're volatile by nature, which literally means they want to just float away. And hey, even the best ingredients on the planet are totally useless if they can't get past your skin's outer barrier, or if they just end up causing a ton of irritation.
Now, you might think the solution to all these problems comes from some super exotic lab-grown compound, but nope. It actually comes from something incredibly common: starch. Yeah, that's right. Through a completely natural process using bacteria, scientists can turn boring old starch into a tiny, invisible helper molecule that does all this heavy lifting in our favorite products.
So, let's meet the hero of our story. It's this molecule with a really unique shape that makes it one of the most versatile tools in a cosmetic chemist's entire toolkit. We are talking about the cyclodextrin.
Okay, so at its core, a cyclodextrin is really just a ring of sugar molecules. That's it. They're naturally made when certain bacteria break down starch, so super simple origins, right? But its structure, well, that's where all the magic really happens. To really get why this thing is so useful, just picture a microscopic donut. Seriously, the outside of the donut is what we call hydrophilic, which just means it loves water. This is great because it lets the whole molecule dissolve perfectly in water-based stuff like gels and serums. But the inside, the donut hole, that's hydrophobic. It hates water. And because of that, it loves to attract oily, unstable, or even smelly molecules, and it just tucks them safely inside its little cavity.
This whole process is called encapsulation, and it's absolutely crucial. So you have an unstable guest molecule. Let's say it's a fragile antioxidant or a volatile fragrance oil, and it gets near the cyclodextrin host. It's immediately drawn into that water-hating inner cavity, and boom, it forms this super stable inclusion complex. The guest is now totally protected, shielded from the outside world.
Okay, so that's the theory. But let's see how this actually works in the real world. This simple little host-guest interaction allows cyclodextrins to do an incredible number of jobs inside a single cosmetic formula. It is definitely not a one-trick pony, it's the ultimate multitasker. First up, its main job, acting as a bodyguard for all those precious and super delicate active ingredients.
And we're talking about some of the heavy hitters here, some of the most celebrated and expensive ingredients in skincare. Resveratrol, that awesome antioxidant from grapes, is now protected from light and heat. Coenzyme Q10 is made way more stable, and things like vitamin E and ferulic acid are shielded from oxidation, which would basically make them useless. So what the cyclodextrin is doing is making sure that the ingredient is still powerful and effective when it finally gets to your skin.
But, protecting an ingredient is really only half the battle. You still have to get it where it needs to go. And that brings us to mission number 2, acting as a really sophisticated delivery system.
This is where things get really, really smart. By wrapping up an oily, water-hating ingredient, the CD's water-loving outside lets the whole package move more easily through the formula and actually penetrate the skin. It can also act like a tiny reservoir, releasing the active ingredient slowly over time for a longer-lasting effect. And that controlled release? It also means less irritation from powerful stuff like retinoids. On top of all that, it means formulators don't need to use as many harsh solvents like alcohol that can really dry out your skin.
All right, mission 3. This one is all about our sense of smell. Cyclodextrins are absolute masters of controlling what you smell and maybe, more importantly, what you don't. I mean,
This quote from the source material really just says it all. By trapping those volatile fragrance molecules, CDs don't let them all escape at once. They release them slowly, which is exactly why that expensive perfume can last for hours and hours instead of just a few minutes.
And get this, they work in reverse too. You know that distinctive self-tanner smell? That comes from an ingredient called DHA. Well, CDs can trap that molecule and totally mask the odor. They do the exact same thing for the sulfury smell of the antioxidant glutathione. Then, on the flip side, empty cyclodextrins are used in products like deodorants to trap unwanted body odors and even in dry shampoos to absorb all that excess oil from your hair. It's so versatile.
Now, you might be thinking this is old news, but while the technology has been around for a while, the science is constantly evolving. We're moving into an era of even smarter molecules for even smarter skincare.
I mean, get this. Cyclodextrins were first discovered way back in 1891. But their major industrial use didn't really kick off until the 1980s. And today, researchers are developing these incredibly advanced new forms, like polymers and even something called metal organic frameworks, or MOFs, which create these porous, cage-like structures for even more precise delivery.
And this isn't just some theory stuck in a lab. The luxury skincare brand Noble Panacea, which was co-founded by a Nobel laureate, uses this exact cutting-edge cyclodextrin tech. Their patented system, which they call the Organic Supramolecular Vessel, is based on these advanced CD-MOFs to protect and deliver ingredients with just incredible precision.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway here? Well, for me, it's all about ingredient intelligence and really understanding what makes a product tick.
So let's just break it down one last time. Cyclodextrins are true multitaskers. They provide protection, keeping those fragile ingredients safe and sound. They boost performance, making sure those ingredients get delivered effectively and released over time. They improve the purity of a formula by getting rid of unwanted smells, and they give fragrances persistence, making them last so much longer.
From now on, when you're scanning an ingredient list and you see the word cyclodextrin, don't just skip over it. Give it a little nod of appreciation, because now you know it's not just some filler ingredient. It's a sign of a really well-crafted, intelligent formula where every single component has a very important purpose.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other unassuming, kind of boring-sounding ingredients are secretly the unsung heroes of our favorite products, just hiding right there in plain sight?